Run it, I can't take no loss. I don't even know what it costs. I hit the ground, then it go off. Yeah, hit the ground, then it go off. Yeah, I can't take no loss.
Hey guys, Drawback Outdoors here with another how-to video. The frustrating part about waterfowl can be the gear. It's no secret you need a lot of decoys, and they can be really expensive. Sometimes $250, $300 for 6 decoys. So there's a few other options for you, and these ones we picked up on Facebook Marketplace. So if you search Facebook Marketplace, guys are getting rid of some older ones in rougher condition. See, this one's barely got any paint left on it. And you can get them really, really cheap, 30 bucks for 6. And then buy a couple cans of spray paint here. You need flat black, flat tan, flat brown, and flat white. And that's all it really takes to make your geese passable. I mean, yes, they're not fully flocked, brand new decoys, but you're going to be able to kill some birds, and you're going to see us kill some birds over these decoys next year. So I'm going to give you a little step-by-step. Here's sort of, I've done a few, so here's sort of what the new one's going to look like. So fresh coat of paint there versus the old one. So we're going to go through. I'm going to show you step by step. We start with the tan. We'll do the brown. We'll do the black. We'll touch up the white. And we actually do some hand painting on the heads, but we'll show you all those steps. And for a couple bucks in spray paint and $30, $40 for 6 of these things on Facebook Marketplace, you'll have yourself a nice little spread to start out. So follow along. Alright, first step is flat black. This is Rust-Oleum. Just make sure your paint is flat. So this is a flat black Rust-Oleum paint. The key is flat. If you get satin or gloss, it's going to put way too much shine on these decoys. They're not going to look real. You're going to get busted. So flat black Rust-Oleum paint. I got the heads taken off right here. I start with the heads, so they kind of have to get 2 coats on each side. So we'll put our first coat of black on these heads, shake up real well, and you don't have to do anything fancy, no special spray pattern. Just cover them up, make sure you get the underside too. There's one head done. Get in the under, get in the top. There's the other. So we'll put one more coat on this black then on the heads, and then so 2 coats, let it dry, flip it over, 2 coats, let it dry. At the end of the video, we'll show you how we add the white to the face then. So it's that simple for those. And then for the bodies, we start with all tan. So this is another Rust-Oleum paint. It's their Camouflage series paint. So it's the camouflage with the tan top. It's already flat. You don't have to worry about getting the flat. It only comes in flat paint. It's made to replicate camouflage, but it's the perfect color for these geese. So we start with the bases. You're just going to do the entire base tan. So super easy. You can't mess it up. This is the easiest part. Do the whole body in tan. Make sure you get the tail real good. Now there's going to be layers on top of this too, so it doesn't have to be perfect. This is just giving us our base coat here. And finish up in the tail. So you're going to do all of these that way. We're going to start with this one next, and then we'll show you the next steps. Okay, so tan on all the bodies, that's done. That's dried. We put a fan on it to help with drying, so it helps speed this process up a little bit. Tan on all the bodies. We're going to go ahead and put the second coat on the one side of these heads, so I'm going to do that now. Okay. Second coat there. Now we're going to go in with the brown here. This is, again, the Rust-Oleum flat brown. You can also do Rust-Oleum flat dark brown. Real close in color. The brown works just fine. So it's Rust-Oleum flat brown. That's going to give us our base color here on top of this tan. We're going to stay away from the front side, the breasts of the bird, because that's going to get touched with white. We like that transition. And then from the top of the neck there, we want to leave that nice and light tan as well. So I'm going to start right about here on the bird, work myself down. I'm going to go all the way down to the tail. We're going to end up coming in with black on the tail, doing that later. But we want that tan covered up for now, so we're going to hit it with the brown. And the trick with this is be a little bit further back so you get that dusting. You don't want to get too close, you'll get runs and it'll look just too thick on the bird. You want to stay a little bit further back and dust it. So make sure you have something under your decoys so you don't get overspray everywhere, because there is a lot of overspray in this process. And I like 12 to 18 inches away. And nice and light. You want to go a little heavier towards the bottom of the bird, towards these tail feathers here, because they're naturally darker. So we'll hit that pretty hard with black, but just a nice light mist up top here on the back of the bird. So that's pretty good for now. Zoom in on that and check that out. So we're going to do that to all these, the shells, and then this one as well. We're going to put that second coat on here. We'll show you what it looks like. The shells are a little bit easier. There's this line pretty well defined of where the breast's over the bird, so obviously you leave that tan. You start back. And you just get a nice little mist here. And you just want to feather this tan in there. So we're going to do the other two. We'll get back and show you the next step. Action! Alright, next step, flat black again. We're going to turn these heads over. We're going to hit them with the first coat. So these will get two coats. First coat of black on this side. Just lather it on there. Doesn't have to be perfect because you're still going to get one more coat of this flat black. Then we're going to take the flat black over here and we're going to do the tails. Heads and tails. Tails. And just make those tail feathers real dark. So I'll show you on this one here. It helps you kind of lean it up a little bit. Those tail feathers nice and dark. And it's okay if you get overspray up here. We're going to darken this up in a second here. So do the tails on this one as well. Okay, so we did those three tails. Now we really want to stay far back. We're going to fade that paint in. So we're going to stay further back at the top and just kind of dust it with the spray. And then as we get closer and closer, we're going to get tighter to the decoy. And we want a darker finish on these back tail feathers here. So I'm going to start real far back. And we're just trying to blend the paint so you don't see a black to brown line here. So we're just fading it in a little bit. And then we're going to get a little closer. And start hitting that. So, not sure how well you guys can see here, but the black up here, there is black up here, just barely, a little bit of mist, and then it gets tighter and tighter until you get a real black tail here. So we'll do the same thing over here. Start real high up. Sort of blend it in. So that's it on that. Now we're going to come back a few more times and we're going to show you. So I'll touch it up a little bit. I'll cover some of that black with a little bit more brown. You can play with them until you get it perfect. At the end, we're going to throw a little bit of light tan in there to sort of make it perfect, and we'll add the white in there. So if any point you spray too far or you mess up, it can be covered up with the other color. It doesn't have to go bang, bang, bang in this exact order. You can come in with brown now. We'll do some touch up. We'll show you that, but don't feel like if you oversprayed one spot, it's ruined. You don't have to start over. You can cover it up with the other colors, and we'll show you that. Use your eye until you get that perfect, what you're really looking for. So we'll finish these, the backs of these. We'll come back with the brown. We'll hit the white. We'll show you that next. All right, I'm ready when you are, brother.
Action.
Okay, so we got the brown, black, tan on the birds. They're looking pretty good. We're going to go back with the brown, the flat brown, and kind of fade that black a little bit better. Just a little bit of touch up. This is to your preference. You want them a little darker, a little bit lighter. Fade that in a little bit. We're just going to hit it real high again, just misting that paint in there. Just to help fade that a little bit better. That looks pretty good. And it gives a really nice blended look. So we'll set this side too. Fading in. And to finish, we'll go back with the light tan again. So it looks too dark, that's okay. After that, we're going to take the white. This is the fun part. This is what makes them look a lot more finished. We're going to take the white and we are going to hit this tail part. You want to be careful on this one that you don't get too much of your black. You could always, if you get this white up into the black shade, go back and touch it up with the black again. But you want to try your best to keep it just so that's what it's going to look like right there. Do this other side here. There you go. Do this guy as well. That underbelly nice and white. And on these, there's a really nice line. Shows you right where you want to be painting. Okay. So that's what you're going to get, your finished result on the whitening. We're going to get this black one more time at the very last step. We'll touch that back up, but we'll let those dry, and then we'll show you that step next.
Action!
So one of the last things we're going to do here is we're going to add the white on the breast to the bird. So these shells, they're grounded birds, they don't need that. But these decoys will. So you're just going to make a little bit of a circle and then kind of run it down to the belly. So just don't be scared. Hit that little circle there. Really get it on there. You don't want it too thick so that it runs, but you do want to make sure the birds can see that. So that's what it's going to look like. Kind of feather it in there. There's the breast on that one. And this one, we'll do the same thing here. Sort of emulate where the white on these birds would be. So that's what that one looks like. And then the last step, as far as painting these decoys, is we're going to feather some tan in here. This is just to blend it a little bit better. I think they already look pretty good, but I want to lighten them up from the top a little bit. So we're back to this camouflage tan, and we're just really going to feather it real far, real feather it. And we're at the top of the neck here. And we want it to go about midway on the feathering here, so just real lightly do these shells, real light feather. Some of them are going to need more than others, depends how much brown you have on them. That one didn't need much. This one's going to need a little bit more feathering here on the neck. Just looks that blend from tan to brown a little bit more natural. That's it. So we're good on the decoys. We're going to show you those up close in a second. But the last and final step is going to be adding the white to these heads. and it's a little bit different of a process. We're going to show you that in a second. So I want to do a little bit more of a touch up here. You're going to get a little bit when you're spraying that white and you're dusting the brown. You're going to get a little bit of that on the tail feathers, and you want those to be super, super dark. So I'm going to take the black here and just touch them up a tiny bit, just so they don't have any overspray. And they're really, truly freshly black tail feathers. So we'll show it again here. All right, now we're ready for the heads. Okay, so for this last and final step, sort of finish it all up here, we're using Apple Barrel Matte White Acrylic Paint. I got this at Walmart. I'm sure you can get it on Amazon, wherever. It's like $3 for 8 ounces. You only really need 4. This is plenty of paint.
Hold it.
But we're gonna
Just hold it so they can see it. No, you're good. Like, tilt it down. There you go. That's what he's got. All right.
Okay, so we're gonna brush this in on the faces. You could even take it and do the rears of them then, and the breastplates if you want to really get picky. So I don't. Small brush, and I don't get any extra container. I just use the cap as my little well here for paint, and I pour some in. Okay. I'll show you guys. Arm. Now the nice thing is there's already lines there from the decoys when they were factory painted, so you're just going in there and painting over the lines that are already there. You want to be real careful to try to keep it on that same line. Well, this is just the first coat. It's going to take 2 coats on each side, so you don't have to get perfect with this coat. We'll go back and touch it up on the second coat. There's one. This one has a little bit different of a design. And trust me, I'm not the most artsy person, so if I can do this, just about anybody can. Okay, so there's one side. We're going to come back. We're going to put a second coat on this. We're going to flip it over. We're going to put 2 coats on this side, and then we'll show you guys what the finished product looks like. Okay, so finished up the final coats of white. 2 coats on each side. You really want that white to pop. That's super important. It gets those birds' attention. I really like that fresh white. So keep that bottle of paint. If you scuff them in the field, you can always touch them up after you're done hunting one day. So 2 coats on each side. We're going to throw this, and you start seeing the results of all your hard work. There's that one. And there's that one. So that's sort of your finished result. And there you have it. So it took us about, I don't know, 30 minutes with drying and repainting and drying and repainting to do this entire process. If you got 6 of them, 10 of them, 12 of them, you can do them all at the same time. 1 can of paint goes a really long way. So like I said, $30 for 6 of these things on Facebook Marketplace. Touch them up. You don't have to spend a ton of money to be able to get birds down. So hope you guys enjoyed this. Follow along. We're going to do a lot more how-tos in fishing, archery, waterfowl, turkey. So we'll have a lot more how-to videos coming up. And I hope you guys learned something and give it a shot. Thanks. It ain't all fun and games. There's a lot of decoys to set up. Those decoys don't just set themselves up. It's a lot of patience and a lot of hard work. But if you stick with me, you'll kill some birds.